Coming to you live from Los Langeles, it's the 10-Point Podcast, Season 8. How the hell are we still going? I have no idea how we're still going. Let me explain something to you. I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm Bruce, so that's what you call me. You know that, or his Bruceness, or Brucer, or El Brucerino, if you're not into the whole brevity thing. With me this week, he really ties the room together. It's Chris.
Shut the fuck up, Bruce.
And secondly, I love you, but sooner or later, you're going to have to face the fact you're a goddamn moron. It's Andy.
I'll take that one. There was a lot worse insults in there, I reckon.
I thought I'd go nice and easy on the first episode of the season. We are the 10-Point Podcast.
That, but that's what all that thing we said.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, exactly. Yeah, 10-Point Podcast. That's season 8. We're off with a bang with our first episode of the season. This was picked and selected on the 10-Point Podcast Awards, otherwise known as the Pointy Awards.
Oh no, it froze already.
Oh, that still happens.
Yeah, that still happens. He's back.
Well, am I frozen again? Am I?
Yeah, it froze exactly like how you always do. So that's a season standard. Oh, it froze when we talked about freezing.
Yes, it did. You said you froze, and then you froze as well.
And then you froze again. Now we're back.
We trialed this for 2 hours the other night, and we had no issues like that.
Amazing.
Yes. So the pointies, because we get so kind of tired and otherwise towards the end of the pointies, we don't actually ever do a kind of refresher. So I crunched the numbers, and Andy's been spoiled in this, Chris, before you got here. Obviously, 20 films there were in the last season, as there is every season. 18 of them won a pointy. So for it to be the most difficult to pick up pointies ever, where we had to toss coins all over the place, nearly every single film won at least one award.
Chris is trying to work out now. I can see his face trying to tick over.
Features, definitely.
That wasn't even last season, Chris.
No, it's based on it. Surely didn't win anything.
It won too, because it won worst film, but it also won, I think it was worst plan. It won. Sorry, worst twist, I think it won. The two films, both selected by the wheel, though, which narrows it down. So what were the two least interesting films?
Beast and...
no. You're nearly there. You're limiting your options.
The other one was Fast X. I can't remember what the two are.
So the other two are the two. Boston Strangler.
Oh, yeah.
Which had comfortably the fewest nominations because it is what it is. It got nothing. And then 80 for Brady also managed to not get anything at all. Beverly Hills Cop, best film of the season, also got the most awards. Shot at Glory got 4 wins, which was just behind. But they were mostly worse this and worse that. But yeah, I thought it was incredible.
Did you win it?
Yeah.
I'll try to tell if you won it.
Yeah, Sean won best cameo.
Or the Chris cameo. I think he did. I don't actually remember.
Best Chris cameo, yeah.
The best Chris cameo. Anyway, that was the Pointy Award. Bit of a spoiler for some odds and ends, but go listen to it. It is epically long.
It's only 2.5 hours.
Only 2.5 hours. He says.
Well, the Oscars is like 5.
Yeah, I suppose.
Oh, my headset's like falling off. I'm sweating too much.
It's 2.5 episodes worth of the Pointies, basically. If you listen to it week by week. Anyway. We're the 10-Point Podcast. We review films on a weekly or bi-weekly sort of basis, episodic basis.
Now in HD.
Find us. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the other thing we're going to say. We are no longer on Skype. We're using the means of Zoom. We're using Zoom now. So hopefully this is better. Already I've frozen once, maybe twice.
That's still the same as Skype, but we're on HD and Chris has had to cover up his sweat patches.
Oh, it's so freaking hot. Look at
it. Why do you take it off now? You just showed the world your sweat patches. You mean to carry on.
It's like middle of summer. I'm sweating my balls off. I could just be sitting naked on down here just to ease some of the coolness. But
they can't see waist down. It's fine.
It's still very useful for later on when I make my pick. So that's a little teaser from my selection at the end of the podcast as this discussion is happening right now. Wherever you get podcasts in the world, type in 10-Point Podcast, you will find us. Amazon, no, it wasn't Amazon, Apple Podcasts is the only way to get all podcasts. You can't find all video versions. Oh, the website, sorry. All the video ones are higgledy-piggledy. YouTube, Spotify get video versions, but you can get most of them on all.
Season 8, this is the one where YouTube lets us upload all episodes.
We'll see. We'll see if YouTube lets us through. Before we get on to this week's episode, what was the highlight of our summer break? I'm not actually sure how many weeks it's been, but what I have listed in order of worst to best all the films I saw at the cinema this year.
I'll chip in.
And Andy will chip in on the ones he's seen, and Chris will sit patiently for his turn.
Because he doesn't go to the cinema. He's got
5 films. The worst film I saw at the cinema this summer, Asteroid City, the newest Wes Anderson film.
Shite.
Which I thought this could be my favourite Wes Anderson film, and I go into it, and it's the most Wes Anderson film of all time, where he just totally Wes Anderson, has a couple of kernels of great ideas and great bits, and then just ruins it by just being so, I don't know, him, and just having the actors do whatever they want and all that sort of stuff. But that was the weakest. It's not the best Wes Anderson for a good few years. So that's the worst. Second worst, but still probably about a 5 out of 10. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Shite on it. Absolutely dog shite.
It got worse as it went on. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, the first bit, I was like, I'm okay with de-aging. I'm okay with CGI.
Some of the best de-aging ever, I would say.
Yeah, I'm like, fucking hell. Like, the only thing that ruined it for me is he sounded old, if that makes sense. Like, he genuinely he sounded like an old Harrison Ford, but he looked like a young Harrison Ford.
Out of his voice.
Yeah, but he just...
It's impossible.
But yeah, it was shite.
I did not hate the ending as much as everybody did. Lots of people seem to hate the ending. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I was all right. It's just the rest of it was a bit shite.
Yeah, it's just a bit. It started off well, got worse, and it's like, in the end, it was like, eh. So that was probably a 5 out of 10. Just this week, I partook in Barbie or Barbenheimer. I did the double header this past week. Did you do a double header, Andy?
I only did one.
Did you only see Barbie?
No.
So I did double header, and the film I saw first in double header is the weaker Oppenheimer. Was the weaker of the two. I think Oppenheimer it is not as good a version of what it wants to be as Barbie is a version of what it wants to be.
I went into Oppenheimer going, I hate this, and I sat and I watched it, and I was gripped, and I was like, I know what's going to happen. It's going to be a big bomb. The bomb goes off, and then it's like, I'm gripped all the way through. I hate Nolan, as we call him in this podcast, with the D.
Nolan, you like to call him.
I hate him, but at no stage did I go, if this is a Christopher Nolan film, I was like, this is a Cillian Murphy, Robbie Downey Jr. film, and I'm liking this. Like, that's what I said about Tenet. That was all fancy pants bullshit, Christopher Nolan bullshit. This was like kind of like Dark Knight route, I felt. Not as action-packed as Dark Knight, but
no, definitely not.
Dark Knight, I don't see as a Christopher Nolan film. It's just, that's the Batman film. And not knowing anything about Oppenheimer, I came out educated, and not much happens, but I was just like, what goes through a man that can do this? Like that's what I like. And you know I hate boring films, but I was gripped.
I'm very surprised that you liked it as much as you sounds like you liked it.
Absolutely,
actually.
Like I was gripped, I was hooked.
I didn't think you would hate it because like most of the things you complain about for Christopher Nolan weren't in it. So I thought, you might actually, but I didn't think it was going to be up your street necessarily.
I love the twists because I didn't know anything. I knew Oppenheimer, I knew Manhattan Project. That was it. And,
same.
I mean, to be fair, I thought Oppenheimer was a German that went to America. I didn't know he was just from New York.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So I was learning every step of the way, and I was like, "Fuck, my mind's been blown here." It's science.
I really like I like the first hour where it's like, here's Robert Oppenheimer. Here's why he's a genius. Here's who he is as a person. Look how much of a genius he is. So I'm like, okay, I'm into it. I didn't like the whole, like, I don't know, the bit in the film that's like the downfall, like him, the whole time that they hated him, that he was a communist. The US, I didn't like that aspect. Hour 2, can they build this bomb? Can he get the team together? Can the Toretto Familia of bomb making get together here? Can they build this thing, and will it work? Because of course, we all know, yes, the US dropped nuclear bombs on Japan. It's like, but we don't know if what they're up to on this farm in the middle of nowhere actually goes to plan. So I'm like, and then they do the thing that they're doing there, and that story ends. And I really didn't enjoy the last hour of the film, where Robert Downey Jr. really comes to the fore. I was like, you had to be interested, but you've ended the storyline I was most interested in, and you're giving me this weird sort of twist that I wasn't needing. And I was like, I didn't need for this to happen. And then Rami Malek, what a strange use of a character and actor in a film Rami Malek is.
There was a lot of that, like Casey Affleck, and just there were people popping up all over the shop.
Lots of people show up for 2 scenes. It's incredible,
Matt Damon stole the film for me. And the weakest person was actually Florence Pugh's titties. And that's saying something in this film.
If you're interested in Florence Pugh at all, Chris, she's literally naked the entire time she's in this film.
I'm sold. Let's go watch it.
Right, okay.
But yeah, no, Florence Pugh's titties are the weakest thing in this entire film for me. I was like, just move them out of the way. Give me the science shit. I want more science stuff. And that's saying how powerful a film that is.
Naked is like,
out the way. That was pretty much how I felt. I was watching the film just going, get me back to the other story, please. I don't care about this bit.
So that was the first half of my doubleheader, Chris.
Yeah, no, I missed this one.
After lunch, I went and saw Barbie. And I was not dragged to see Barbie. Barbie was absolutely rammed. I saw it at 2:30 on a Monday, and it was rammed.
I went on Tuesday, Meerkat Day. I went and watched Oppenheimer. It was fairly quiet. When I came out, I have never seen so much fucking pink camel toe in the world.
Oh, God's sake.
It was everywhere.
Yeah, we got out of Oppenheimer, went out, got some lunch, came back to the cinema, and had to queue for 20 minutes to get popcorn before going to see Barbie.
Absolutely mental. Is Brung Cinemas back?
Yeah, definitely.
Who knew people loved Margot Robbie's feet that much?
There was one row of like kind of schoolgirls with a person, a guardian, looking after them. But everybody else was adults. Like it was grown-ups.
Yeah.
So
am I missing something here? Because I've got no interest in seeing this whatsoever.
Oh yeah.
So I knew it was going to be more than what it looks like it is. Yeah. Now the first half hour of Barbie, you've not seen it yet, Andy. Is that what you said?
No.
The first half hour is a toy advert that is all the bits from all the trailers. So the first half hour I found really tough to get through because I'm like, oh, I know the joke here because it's in the trailer. Oh, I know the joke here because it's in the trailer. I know the joke here, it's in the trailer. And it's like, here's Barbie's dream house. Here's Barbie land, Barbie, Barbie, Barbie. And then after half an hour, the film breaks out and the story starts happening. And it gets better and better and better. And get ready for Ken.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling
absolutely steals everything. Yeah.
Absolutely. Margot Robbie is very good. And she nails what she's trying to do in the film, and she's perfect at what she does in the film. But Ryan Gosling doesn't need to do what she has to do. He doesn't need basically the serious side of his character. He just gets to be Ken, and he is absolutely, to me, the star of the film.
Ryan Gosling. He is hilarious.
It's really funny at moments in it. The film is very pro-feminism. Everyone, the critics of it are saying, "Oh, it promotes feminism," blah blah blah. It is that. But if you can laugh at men, if you're a man who can laugh at men, you will enjoy the Ryan Gosling Ken side of things as well. I won't go any further into it because you guys have not seen it, and I'm sure Chris will see it. It's going to be a cultural thing. Like it's going to be a big.
Going to see it on Sunday actually.
2023 is going to be the Barbie year, and young girls from around this year.
We'll watch it when you're doing, Chris.
I did see a meme of two Best Actor awards. It's a very serious Robert Downey Jr. and a Ken just standing at the side like that with his thumb up or something.
At the moment, they probably could be both nominated. My favorite performance across
best
the
supporting,
films,
sorry.
Yeah, best supporting. My favorite performance across both films was definitely Ryan Gosling, I would say. Right. My number one movie that I watched across the summer, which I'm assuming Andy seen, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. I saw that was my favorite film.
I enjoyed it, but I thought it was a bit lackluster. Like that's my review of it. I didn't hate it. I mean, there was a scene that was probably about 25 minutes too long, and that involved a yellow fucking car.
That was my favorite bit of the film. I loved that portion of the
bullshit.
Film. It was incredible. I so much loved the chase in the yellow feet.
I was just thinking, Dominic Drake would have done better.
I knew you were like, as it was happening, I was like, is this the same place as with the fireball?
It genuinely looked like it, didn't it?
Yeah.
Haley
Atwell. Haley Atwell's amazing. I thought she's
really good.
She's such an extra energy that the Mission Impossible never had. Like a kind of funny person, basically. But it's not like it doesn't need to, I don't know, quick cut to Simon Pegg to say a funny line every 10 minutes now. There's an actual other funny character.
What I do want to see though is apparently there's a 4-hour cut of the train scene.
See, I wasn't desperately keen on the train until spoiler-free version, the end of the train scene. Yeah. Then I quite liked the train.
Well, spoiler-free version. My issue is Tom Cruise is a super secret, like he's amazing. He does Mission Impossible stuff. There's a bit in that train where it's just like it was just a comedy blooper thing. It's like, no, this is not what Tom Cruise should be doing. It's like, just, you know the bit I mean. It's just like, a super secret spy wouldn't have made that mistake. Then he wouldn't have made the next mistake. But it's all working out for him. It's like
exactly, yeah.
No, bits of it annoyed me. I enjoyed it. I want to see part 2.
Yeah, I want to see part 2. It's by far not my favorite Mission Impossible movie, but the best bits are some of the best Mission Impossible stuff. Its high points are so high that I had to give it like an 8 out of 10 or something like that. So
is the second one supposed to be the last of them?
No,
Oh, they're not sure
he's
yet.
going until he's
Probably not.
80, he said.
Yeah, I'll keep going.
Oh, cool.
That's it. Chris, what have you watched across the summer?
Nothing exciting. I watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3 again because Nicola wanted to watch it, and I made the mistake of pre-warning her of how
I know, emotional.
upsetting it is.
Oh,
She didn't
no.
shed one single fucking tear.
Monster.
Oh, I was absolutely... I had my fucking hood up again, sitting like that, watching it. Do you know the worst bit is, it's been out for a while, I'll say it, is Drax saying goodbye to Mantis got me fucking harder than anything this time.
Yeah.
I was sure he was a goner. There's one scene where Drax gets killed.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
They just help him up and carry on.
Yeah, I was annoyed. Like I did feel like he was the one who needs to die in the thing, and then it's all the way through. Yeah, I feel like I was expecting somebody to die.
Yeah.
I thought one of him or Rocket was definitely gone, or maybe until I saw the film, and then I saw Rocket was. It wasn't before I saw it. I thought Rocket was dead. Then when I see the film, like, oh, the Rocket won't die. It's definitely going to be Drax. And I thought, would they kill off Star-Lord as well? I thought that might be possible, and then it didn't in the end. So.
I thought Drax would have died saving those kids.
Yeah,
that was how.
But
I think already died.
My favorite bit is we finally did understand Groot at the end because we've all watched it so long. We know what he says now.
Yeah, he's good as Groot. Vin Diesel's best performance, 20 award winner for worst acting. Right, we've definitely dilly-dallied too long. We're definitely going to have to get into point number 1 on episode 1.
Yeah, because I don't have a timer in this one. I've just noticed there's a flaw in this one.
I realised that as well when you were talking. Point number 1 on the 10-point podcast. Point 1. What is the point? The point this week. The 1998 quirky crime comedy, The Big Lebowski. I took the word quirky off of the Blu-ray, which I've got here, which I've been using. Big Lebowski. Get into that in a second. Big Lebowski, written and directed by Ethan and Joel Coen. We've done them before. So the run that they did, both writing and directing films into this, Raising Arizona, Miller's Crossing, Barton Fink, The Hudsucker Proxy, then Fargo, then this, then Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And that's where we'll stop for now. So this is, to us, the 10-point podcast section of the Coen Brothers career, because we've done all 3.
Third of the cunts.
But I think this might have been their early peak of the Coen Brothers was the 3-film run of Fargo, Big Lebowski, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? So Big Lebowski in the middle. Big Lebowski stars as the dude Jeff Bridges, famous for being in Tron, Starman, The Fisher King, The Big Lebowski, Crazy Heart, and True Grit. Have I missed anything off there, Jeff Bridges? Is there anything else? Thanos.
What?
Thanos? That's not Jeff Bridges.
That's Josh Brolin.
You're thinking of Josh Brolin.
I'm pissed already. No, I mean, it's when Chris said R.I.P.D. I was like, that's the one. I was thinking Ryan Reynolds.
As always.
I thought you went Ryan Reynolds, Marvel, Thanos. That's how I went. That was the thought process.
So yes, R.I.P.D., a failed movie that went very badly.
I haven't seen the second one yet.
They made a second one.
Aye.
Yeah.
Anyway, co-starring as Walter Sobchak, John Goodman. Famous for Roseanne, Barton Fink, The Flintstones, which I accidentally watched the second one of at the weekend. It was on TV. I just left the TV
Even
on.
Las Vegas. Banger.
Horrific. Monsters, Inc. for John Goodman, Argo, Flight, and 10 Cloverfield Lane. There's probably other John Goodman.
Blues Brothers 2000.
Blues Brothers 2000, yes. He shows up in everything, John Goodman. Like literally everything, like adverts and all that as well. Third star as Maud Lebowski, Julianne Moore. We did her in Evolution, so I'm not going to go too deep into her backstory. That was quite recently, but she plays Maud. And our fourth star of the film as Donnie, Steve Buscemi. Famous for Reservoir Dogs, Fargo, Con Air, Ghost World, The Sopranos, Boardwalk Empire, and The Death of Stalin. And I can't work out what film it is where he does that Hello Fellow Kids gif that shows up all the time, because he's a meme as Steve Buscemi.
That's sort of Adam Sandler, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I couldn't quite work out which Adam Sandler film it was, but that's probably what he's just about most famous for, outside of maybe Reservoir Dogs.
Is it Mr. Deeds or Billy Madison?
I don't think it's Billy Madison, so maybe it's Mr. Deeds.
Mr. Deeds.
Is it? Maybe it's one of them. They're kind of the same film.
Yeah.
So,
no, Mr. Deeds got a crazy eye.
Is that not the homeless guy in
Big Daddy?
Big Daddy. He has a crazy guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, Donnie, Steve Buscemi, they are our main stars of The Big Lebowski on a budget of $15 million, which seems like a lot for what the film actually is, really.
Well, we know all where that went. It's like them 3 scenes.
Yeah.
That's cheap. And not cheap even.
No, opening weekend took $5.5 million in America, Final US gross $18 million. Final worldwide gross $47 million. So tripled its budget at the box office. Not sure if that would be a moneymaker, but it's definitely highly profitable now because it is one of the most cult movies around, is The Big Lebowski. Released 6th of March 98 in the US, came 6 weeks later to the US, 24th of April. That meant, kind of awkwardly again, 98, 99 award seasons, depending on which award ceremony it was. So Oscars, no nominations whatsoever for The Big Lebowski at any Oscar awards. No Razzie nominations either. 1998 MTV Movie Awards, nothing there either.
Oh.
Saturn Awards, this doesn't really fit into any category at Saturn Awards, so nothing there either. So all of our major award ceremonies shut out Big Lebowski wise. So I delved into other awards to find out it's barely won any award at all. The only award
could be put on the wiki then.
Exactly. John Goodman won one award somewhere for his role, and both of the other awards were it won Best Foreign Film at like a different nation language speaking country.
What? There's foreign countries outside the UK and the US?
So, for example, something like it may have won Best Foreign Film at the Turkish Film Awards or something like that, as a random country I picked out. 2 of them, and that's it. Other than that, it's in the US. What's it called? The film bit of like the US Historical Society. This film is important for American culture, preservation of American culture. So it's in that, but that's not like an award that you win necessarily. So not a big award winner. Synopsis for the film The Big Lebowski, brought to us by regular contributor Thesaurus Nick.
This could be.
It's not especially long, but I've not read it. So that goes as follows. Los Angeles, 1990. That's the first time I've ever seen this dated as an actual year, because obviously it's all about Saddam and Reagan and all that sort of stuff. So Los Angeles, 1990. Spending his days sipping White Russians and the nights at the local bowling alley with his only friends, Walter and Donnie, Jeffrey, the dude Lebowski, it's Lebowski, isn't it? The dude Lebowski, a sympathetic unemployed layabout, is a failure in every aspect of life. Then, as if having zero motivation to do anything weren't enough, 2 goons, bent on collecting a debt, mistake the pot-smoking slacker for another Lebowski, the reclusive millionaire philanthropist, Jeffrey, the Big Lebowski, said the thing, and as the pair of thugs irreparably ruin an irreplaceable item in his decrepit home, the dude gets caught up in an intricate kidnapping plot involving the magnate's young trophy wife, Bunny. Now her life is in Jeffrey's hands. However, is the dude up to the task? You got very wordy in there. That was difficult to say. Who picked The Big Lebowski? It was Chris. Chris, why did you pick The Big Lebowski?
It's a film that I'd never actually seen before. And it'd been incepted. I've started watching or listening to the Always Sunny podcast, and it's been mentioned more than once in that. So I thought, you know what? Fuck this. I need to give this a go. And here we are.
Here we are. I had seen it before because I owned a limited edition Blu-ray version of it, which is going to go on this video. What this does have on it that I very much like, it's got a thing on it called Market Dude. An on-screen counter really ties the film together and keeps track of F-bombs, dudes, and other Lebowski-isms.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So I had an on-screen counter counting things for me, which is very handy, and that'll come up in stats. Again.
Well, see if they match up with mine.
Exactly. Andy, have you seen the film before?
Too many times.
Too many times. Which channel would we normally find this one on?
Channel 4 film, 4E4 type film thing.
Feels like very much a Channel 4 one.
Yeah.
So we'll go with that. And I've already said, did you guys, I'm assuming, that I think there only is one version. There's no extended version.
I watched the Blu-ray for a change because I wanted some HD graphics.
So yeah, I think there's no have extra scenes in it. They're always separate deleted scenes, or the actual keep.
There's a lot more titties in these versions when you watch the Blu-ray though compared to Channel 4.
Right, okay. Oh, right. Okay, maybe the TV versions. I actually forgot to research if they're all.
I'm pretty sure that's where probably when the adverts were just about to cut and then they come back on.
Maybe. Good shout. Point 2 on the 10-point podcast is the high points, when we list the best bits, things, etc. about the film. And Chris, you picked, so you can start us off.
Well, this is partly a low point, but that opening song was absolutely shit.
Well, the tumbling tumbleweeds.
Aye. But like Sam Elliott's voiceover, he can make anything sound good.
I was like, where's he going with this?
He talks, you just listen.
Yeah, yeah. His opening ramble where he just starts talking. Like it seems there's like 2 or 3 scenes in the film where someone starts talking and telling a story, then they get kind of lost, and then they kind of reset, and then they just kind of give up on telling the story.
It's like he's a man. He's a man's man. Where was I going with this?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Have you seen the Netflix Sweet Tooth series?
no, not yet.
No,
It's pretty good. But John Goodman does his voice in that style. So
Right,
he's telling the story as it's like obviously happened years ago, and he's retailing, but he sounds exactly like Sam Elliott.
Samuel.
And then, but yeah, it's
Good.
John Goodman doing the version, which is quite a nice tie-in.
What
I look out with the opening, like the bowling bit of it. I like that. I love bowling.
because I've got there's a bit I forget lots of the order of this film because it opens with the tumbling tumbleweeds and Sam Elliott, and then basically all my high points I've got it's quotes, and I have to remember where the quotes fit into scenes. Why? So I've got "Where's the money, Lebowski?" but actually in an American accent. "Where's the money, Lebowski?" No, you're Lebowski. Like all that stuff. That first scene, and then he picks the bowling ball up and goes, "What is this?" And then just the dude going, "Obviously, you're not a golfer." It's just an absolute screamer of a line. So that gets a high point. And then I've got into the opening credits over something satisfying about watching a bowling montage. It's everything from a strike is very satisfying, but then the pin's getting reset, and then the ball go down the tubes and coming up through the hole. It's a very satisfying thing to watch.
It's people's different swings as well. You've got people who do the kicking the leg out. People just kind of like roll it. You've got people who kind of drop it. You've got, I'm assuming it was a very camp one. The wee guy, you could just even see what happened, but you could tell he got a strike. But he's like,
Well, that's the thing I never noticed. Like, you notice that montage at the start, but all the way throughout the film, anytime they're in the bowling alley, I was actually fixated on things that were happening behind the main characters this time. And it's all the way throughout the film. It's just like the people bowling are just like they're going at it. And it's like it's brilliant the way they do it.
Is it true, if you were watching the background, is it true that every single bowl gets like a strike in the film until Donnie has the one where his pin doesn't fall and he's like he senses something's up, and then spoiler alert, Donnie dies straight afterwards. It's like
So,
it feels to me that that's the case.
Right.
I think I started watching it towards the end, but I was counting strikes. But every now and again, somebody would hit it, and as the last one was wobbling, it would cut away. So you don't know whether it was a strike or if it was like.
So basically, every visible bowl, I don't know what you call it, delivery that you have in the film is a strike. For all we know, until Donnie that one time, that one pin, and he basically stands there, gets like a shiver. It's like, what's going on here? And then it changes. It's like a bad omen. Yes. And then so after the opening credits over the bowling, we're right into the first dude, Walter, Donnie. Donnie, you're out of your element, is the line I've got written next to it.
Walter, like him in general, he's a fucking nutter, and he is brilliant.
That is my ultimate high point. That's when I peaked. Like, I'll peak at this high point. Every single thing that John Goodman does in this film is gold.
I've got one bit later on where he's perfect. But yes, the dude, Walter is absolutely perfect. He's perfect in the film. I love the dude. But then when you add Donnie to the mix, and you've got the three-way conversations where the dude and Walter are having a conversation, and Donnie's about 10 minutes behind. And Walter keeps talking to Donnie, telling him to shut up and pay attention. And then the dude's still talking about what they're talking about. So Walter has to go back to dude's conversation again. And it's just, I just love the scenes with the three of them
exactly
having
like our podcast.
Basically, yeah. And we'll come to that later on, I'm sure.
It's like Walter's like, he's a fucking like that one. I think it's that picture behind you is where the guy
gets the gun.
Balls, yes, I just pulled the gun on him. He's like,
fucking brilliant.
Rocket Zero.
That is my favorite scene. It's just like
over the line.
They're trying to talk it. It's just trying to talk it out, and then gun comes out.
Smokey, you're entering a world of pain. Is the line I've got written.
I watched it twice because you see him talking to dude. He's looking down. And then he just looks at Smokey as he takes his shot, and then that's like, over the line!
Over the line!
So he purposely stops talking to watch him.
Yep. That's what you do, Nolan.
Because of his tits.
And then all the way through to Market Zero! Market Zero! And he's like,
throughout the film as well, like, I think we're agreeing, like, John Goodman probably steals the entire film, but everything he says is fucking nonsense. or just gets them into trouble, like more
Or
trouble.
it's
Yeah.
about Nam.
Yeah. Which Nam was
Everything.
again in trouble.
And my buddies didn't die face down in the dirt to live in America like this and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, the dude snaps, doesn't he, at one point? He's like, Walter, not everything is about fucking Vietnam. Yeah, I'll keep coming back because I've got like every scene where the three of them are bowling is a high point to me, basically.
Yeah.
So that's biggest three. But my next high point is Brandt giving the dude a tour, like basically where they're looking at the wall. And it's
yeah, he's touching.
Oh,
things.
this is Mr. Lebowski. Oh, yes, that's where he does this. And those are Mr. Lebowski's children. And then just, the dude just going, oh, different mothers, eh? And it's like, no. As Brandt does, his really sycophantic laugh that he has. No, it's his charity work. I really enjoy that scene.
What was the shoe thing he was stroking, though, the last one?
Aye.
Yeah, there's like a hole in the bottom of it.
Aye, it looked like a shoe print, and he just kept poking it. I was like, what is that?
I get the feeling they probably improvised some of that, but I don't know if the Coen brothers are improvising. They may have told them to stop, but it feels very natural. Like they're just like, here's a wall full of daft things. Just have a scene, the two of you together. Any other high points? I've got a dozen more probably.
I've got obviously the bunny gets kidnapped. Blah blah blah. Well, bunny. She's not dead bunny. It's the boss handoff.
The ringer.
The ringer.
Yeah. Like, again, the way Walter just takes over is like, I've got a ringer. Just use a ringer. Nope, we're going to give her the money. We're going to save her. The girl's life's in our hands. Give me the ringer! And then he goes,
this is his commando role as well. He just jumps out, I've got this, and his gun just goes off.
Give me the Uzi. As he what? Give me the Uzi. He's like, you think I want to come out here unarmed? And he starts talking about Vietnam again.
Yeah. It's like, why did they wrap it up in paper, though?
Yeah. Even before that, it's a small scene that I don't remember very vividly. It's just when dude's been given the phone and the job, and he must have contacted Walter to say, this is what they've got me doing now. And Walter's obviously invited himself along. So he drives over, Walter's like, I'm coming. So he goes and he just drives up and he's like, where do you think you're going? Sort of thing, as he comes in with his wrapped up gun and his bag of dirty undies, the whites, as he feels need to say specifically, it's the whites.
It's like later on when they were like talking about it, was, I want my whites back. Give me my underwear back.
That would be me though. I was like, but I would definitely like, should I use my own dirty underwear? I'd find something else, I reckon, because underwear's not cheap.
It's funny, like, at the end back, he's just standing there going, let's go bowling. I will. Let's go.
Which takes me to, I don't know, it's my next scene, but my next high point, we're back at the bowling alley for my next high point. The Jesus.
The Jesus. I could love the Jesus.
I've just realised that probably should be best entrance is how Jesus enters this movie. So I'm going to write down Jesus next to that.
Oh, yeah, and that's it.
Licking the ball.
Licking the ball, and then even just the way he does anything. I can show off with fancy new zoom, can't I? And I can go, even just the way he cleans the ball in the background. Don't went the wrong way. Yeah, it's like even this is exceptional. I'm gonna leave it on now.
That's another reason I got accepted, because I just watched an Always Sunny episode, and it's all about the big.
They do that. It's big.
Yeah, they just clean the ball like that.
Yeah, they do.
So the Jesus is exceptional. Amazing introduction. The way Turturro just owns 2 scenes of the film just by the way he plays Jesus.
I think this was the second thing I seen him in. Was it Billy Madison was the first thing I seen him in? Like sneaky.
Right, yeah.
Very sneaky.
Oh no, that's Mr. Deeds.
Mr. Deeds.
Right, there you go. See? Same film.
With his black foot.
Aye, big black foot. You can just hit it if you want.
That's wrong way. It's the other way around. Adam black foot.
It shows up in this, and you're like, oh, this guy's great. He's got great charisma. And then you find out from Walter that he's a pederast. And I was like, all right, I'll get the stats.
Donnie, that was a legitimate question. Like, what is a pederast? He's like, shut the fuck up, Donnie.
So, yeah, because we get the story, and then that ends the Jesus part of the scene, the rest, I don't remember the rest of the scene being as brilliant as it is. Walter at Donnie. Life does not stop and start at your convenience, you piece of shit. He just goes and completely loses the head. And then, was it dude is trying to recite a Lenin quote? And it's like, is it not something about that? It starts talking, and then the whole time Donnie's just going, I am the walrus. I am the walrus. I am the walrus in the background, and then it just loses the head of them again. I am Lennon, and not John Lennon in the background. So
I was trying to quote John Lennon.
And then we get probably I think it's my most quoted line from all the Big Lebowski is when the dude disagrees with the Jesus and just goes, yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man. And that's what I say to anybody who ever disagrees with me. I always tell them, well, that's just your opinion. This scene is where John Goodman hits the zenith of Walter. Like this one, for everything he does, from Jesus is a pedo all the way through to losing the head with Donnie to having the whole chat with the dude about his problems, is just John Goodman is exceptional in that entire scene.
The one that I thought he nailed it was the kid's house, where obviously like dude's car's gone missing, and he comes in, he finds out
I'm gonna
he's
sort
a
this
fan
out.
of the guy. The guy's in an iron lung. He's just standing going, massive fan, mate. Blah 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 blah. Like, I've watched your series.
Yeah.
Big. Oh, and he gets really tears. Like, this is the moment of my life here, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But my other, like,
kid comes out.
talking about like other John Goodman moments while we're at it. Just the bit where he gets to the actual Big Lebowski, he's like, this guy is definitely faking it. I'm going to pick him up.
Thanks for that.
He drops like a ton of bricks.
I don't know if he's
so like sure of himself. I thought he was faking it. I was like, you know, he's been right about everything else here.
Yeah.
I've got to say, that's literally where I was going, Chris, because you watched it obviously more than once. On this viewing, you actually do notice how right Walter is the majority of the time. Like, he is mental, and he talks about Vietnam a lot, and has some bad decision-making on his part, but he's more often than not right about what everybody else is doing, which I don't actually remember being as
It was right about the
strong as
toe.
it.
I mean, I think it was the dude who thought, she just kidnapped herself, but
Yeah.
then Walter kind of made him more sure of it. Yeah, she's kidnapped herself. It's fine. Yeah, she's not dead.
Right, before we gloss over some other high points that you guys are going to miss, because I reckon you're going to put it on low points. Julianne Moore.
I have put her on low points, you're right.
I don't know why, but I fucking loved her in this. Like, Chantel was like, is she trying to be British? I was like, she's a posh artist person, I reckon. But I don't understand what she was going for. But every time she talks, I don't know, I just had a smile on my face, and it was just nonsense coming out.
I enjoy her, and you're right. What Julianne Moore does is enjoyable and fun, and funny at times. And yeah, just the way, the turn of phrase she has, to use the parlance of our times.
Like, even just her sitting on the bed after the dude's done the deed, it's like, what is she doing?
Yeah,
I was watching going, what?
It's like, and then just when it's like, are you doing yoga? It's like, no, I'm trying to conceive. It's like, it helps. It's like, it's just out of nowhere. Like, just so like, just the way she's
so matter of fact about everything.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I was put the doctor in low points because I'm like, what is the fucking deal with this doctor here? It's like it's a punch in the face. He's fine.
He's very thorough.
Yeah.
And
right at the very end, like when she's doing that thing, I'm like, that's what the fucking doctor was for. Now it all just makes sense.
We've glossed over a high point I want to mention. It's not the highest of high points, but Marmot in the bath. It's funny.
Remember that came up in a quiz last season?
That did. That's where's the money, Lebowski, again, back in his house. But then he goes and meets, it's the three of them at the bar this time, Donnie, Walter, and the dude, and he's telling about the Marmot story. And then Walter's more worried about these nihilists owning the Marmot than anything else that happened. And it's like, oh, in this zoning regulations, the color, blah, blah, blah. And then the dude just turns to him and goes, where's it? What are you, a fucking park ranger now? Or something like that. It just cracked me up. Every time I watch this film, there's a different line where I'm like, that's my new favourite line, that's my new favourite line. And I'm sorry, we very quickly got away from Larry. The scene where they visit Larry about his homework, that's the guy with the...
It's just like, is this your homework, Larry?
Is this your homework, Larry?
Is this your homework? Yeah, we know it's homework. Where's the car? Is this your homework, Larry? Just for like a minute, just constant, just that one.
And then he's like, right, that's it. Plan B, and he goes off, and he gets the thing out the car, and then you see what happens, Larry. This is what happens, Larry. Now, this has, I don't know how aware the entire world is of this, but this is a legendary scene because in America, we've talked about quite a lot, different versions of the film exist. Because in America, they strangely show 18-rated movies during the daytime to fill up TV time. You'll be surprised to hear when John Goodman is shouting, Larry, this is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass over and over again, doesn't make the TV edit very well, but they can't cut the scene out because it's like 10 minutes of the film. So I've not seen it for myself on television, but you can find it on the internet. In the TV edit version, or a version of this, when John Goodman is doing everything, smashing at the car, he's shouting, this is what happens, Larry. Do you see what happens, Larry, when you find a stranger in the Alps? And he just keeps doing that. And he said it, well, he must say it, what, 15, 20 times in this movie?
Everything hits it. This is what happens when you fucking straight your ass. This is what happens when you fucking straight your ass. You see, Larry? This is what fucking happens. It's just constant.
Yes. So yeah, the TV edit is Find a Stranger in the Alps for that scene. But obviously,
I thought that was Larry's car. I thought he just had stone face. I was like,
it's the fact he doesn't do anything. He's an enigma, is Larry. That he just sits there silently. Because I think this is I'll probably forget every time I watch the film, but this is the first time I actually really established kind of what happened to everything. Because there's a lot of moving parts in this film. And as the film's happening, I was like, what does happen to the money? And again, who ends up with the money? It's like, does Larry end up with the money? But then I realised on this viewing, it never existed. Excuse me. So I've only got 2 more high points.
You better rattle through them. One of them better be the funeral scene.
One's very small and is not the funeral scene, is him at the Malibu Police Department, where he's absolutely stoned, having been drugged, having been picked up, and he's just sitting there, and the policeman's reading him his rights, telling him he's this, that, and the other, and it cuts to him, and he just goes, I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. So the police chief lobs the coffee cup and smacks him in the forehead, which I've forgotten that happened. So that's my small high point. But yes, Donnie's funeral, Ashley's
death.
Oh, the death.
I was not prepared for his death. The change in water, like you can see, like Donnie's scared. Are they going to hurt us? No, Donnie, you're fine. Like he actually speaks to him nicely. He's like, no, I was like, oh, he actually does like Donnie. And he's like, are we going to get hurt you? No, you're fine, Donnie. And then he starts fucking having a heart attack. He's like, "Go get the ambulance! I'm bleeding blood here. I'm gonna pass out when I stand up."
Yeah.
Get an ambulance. Oh, what was it? It helps chopper in.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'll do that. Do that when you die, Chris. That's exactly how I'll do it to you.
The Donnie Walter actually being a fighting machine is good as well. Like he does actually on his own kick the ass of all 3 of the nihilists in that point, because the dude is no use. He's like, take the $4, take the $4.
And then Donnie ball to like Flea's gut again, so he just goes whack.
Yeah. Yes, so Donnie, first of all, them being the 2 of them, dude and Walter, being very angry at the most moderately priced receptacle.
100%. $180 is too much.
Again. Yeah, like we're scattering. We're scattering the ashes. Yeah. To the scattering. Is this the first time you've ever seen the scattering of the ashes, Chris? How did you find the scene?
Obviously, Walter giving his speech, and I was like, oh, it's quite emotional. I just brought it back to Nam again, and it just went, all the hash. He's just standing there, doesn't move an inch, and then Walter turns like, oh, I'm sorry.
And I just got, everything's a travesty with you. So the dude says to Walter. It's like absolutely nailed it. Everything's a travesty. Yeah, him putting the ashes is amazing. And then I love that it's just randomly, Donnie used to surf on these beaches from this one up to this one. It's random Donnie backstory that probably is true, but there's no evidence of in the rest of the film that he was a crazy surfer guy. And that's me for high points. I'm out eventually.
Yeah.
I probably could keep going forever finding other ones. Point 3, low points. What was like the worst bits and things about the film were? Can I start off? It's not a low point. It's just a question, and it's my major question, dilemma of the film. Do you, in your opinion, think the dude had grounds to ask the Big Lebowski for compensation for his rug being peed on? Do you think the start of this film basically is a dude going to the other Jeffrey Lebowski to say, it's your fault, my rug got peed on. Can you compensate me for that? Do you think he had grounds?
I would definitely have done that, yes.
Like, your wife fucking whoring herself around, made my rug get peed on, and now it's fucking soiled. I want one off of you, or some money to buy a new rug. Yeah,
I'd be getting more money because the rug wasn't particularly nice. I know he said it brought the room together, but I'd find some cash.
A quick hyper speaking of the wife, and she's like, "I'll suck your cock for $1,000." It's like, I'm just going to the ATM. I'll be back.
Okay, I'm gonna get machine. Yeah, yeah. So I personally think I think the Big Lebowski would be fine saying no. I sawed off, because really it's the Asian American that did it. He's the one that should be paying for it.
What group? Who were they?
He's Jackie Treehorn's man.
Right. Okay, that's fine.
So really, Jackie Treehorn should be in the hole for the money. But obviously, they didn't know that. He just knew they were looking for the other Jeffrey Lebowski at the time. So I lose 2-1. You think the Big Lebowski should have paid out?
Yeah. Which brings me on nicely to my low point. The incoherent Coen Brothers type story again.
Right, okay. The difficult to follow, you mean, rather than
yeah, it's just like it's not simple, like, but the dude's a simple man. So the story should in theory be kind of simple. But then they just introduce so many fucking characters that I'm just like, eh? Stop
it
calling
becomes a
everybody Lebowski.
joke.
Well, I know, but,
Yeah.
like it takes something away from it. And my ultimate low point is I just don't like the dude. He's the most unlikable character of the whole lot for me.
He's not my favorite. He comes out with some belters of lines.
It does, yeah. But it's like anytime he's on, it's just like, just get back. Like, I don't mind when they're all three together, like we said, they're great. But like, anytime he's on, it's just like, right, well, Walter's told you to go do that, so why didn't Walter just do it? Like, I want this to be a Walter bowling film. That's what I wanted.
But the whole
yeah,
the web of people, like, it gets confused. Even on my 100th viewing today, I'm like, I still can't quite remember everything. But then when you get the guy in the Blue Beetle, and he's like,
yes,
I'm from the Von Knutsens.
Yeah.
And then he just goes, who the fuck are the Von Knutsens? At that point, like, the film is supposed to have got into such a tangled web, you don't even know who anybody is anymore. Like,
100% get it, but this is why I like Coen Brothers always just fuck around. It's just like, even like, oh brother, we're out of there. It's a simple story, but they fuck around with shit. It's like, no, just take a step back. Yeah, just take a step back. You've got something here. You've got your funnies. Stop adding, like, don't make it so hard to fall for a punchline joke at the end.
Which brings me to my low point. You've already mentioned Julianne Moore. The character of Maud, especially David Thewlis's character, I hate him. Like, I hate that guy.
Why is he in the film at all? Other than just go,
just be annoying. Yeah, exactly. So I hate him. Take him out. I don't mind David Thewlis. He's funny. He's good in things. But I hate his character in this film. He's fine. It's the character. So annoying. Get rid of him. But anytime Maud comes into it, I'm just like, ugh. It feels like it goes down a step. Like, because I know it's not Walter and it's not chasing the money for the Big Lebowski. It's the Maud side of it. But of course, it's important if you actually...
She cracked the case wide open, though. That's where exactly. It all kind of fits in at the end.
Yeah, she fits in. But I'm just like, oh, it's this. It's a step where it's like, oh, it's this bit. And then, all right, we're back bowling again. Or we're back to Maud again. And it's
like, I think she just constantly walks about naked underneath that thing.
I think in the HD Blu-ray version, she is wearing underwear. I don't know if we're supposed to think she's naked when she comes flying in.
Yeah.
I noticed that. But she walks about with that green jacket. So is that it? She just walks about like that the whole time.
I think it's just her pants and the jacket, I think, yeah. And her very severe haircut that she has.
I'll let Chris have a low point. I've got another one.
I've got one more.
This annoyed me working as a shopper. A 69-cent check just fucking pissed me right off.
All right, yeah.
Bruce just put my other low point in.
Yep.
I thought it was coming.
Any of those scenes, like not even just the one or two. Like, to be fair, the scene behind Bruce is actually probably my favorite out of the lot.
This is the dream sequences and the drug-induced ones as well.
I love the song playing on it.
Like, what condition my condition is in.
Aye, that one. I love that song. And I loved him doing his little dance. But ultimately, any of those ones where he's stoned out, whacked in the head scenes, like the bowling one flying through the sky, it's just like...
See, I don't mind the flying one, because it's meant to look bad, it does look bad. Film. And it's kind of funny. This one, it's enjoyable, but again, it's 5 minutes out the film I didn't need. Like, I don't think it added anything. It's just a bit silly.
It's enjoyable. Like, I'm sure I've known about dream sequences in past films. I'm watching it, and then as soon as it happens, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
The high point in that is the song, because I like
my concentration.
And I just love his little face when he's looking up at all the shoes. It was a fun little face he has.
Yeah, it's an entertaining little 5 minutes, but it doesn't really fit with the rest of it. It's weird. I've only got one more low point. It's another insignificant thing that doesn't really need to be in the film. The one-man show that he goes to for
the guy just doing the commander roles and shit.
Yeah. The interaction they have in the stands about coming up with what we're going to do is go and see Larry is funny enough, but I didn't need the character. I didn't need the one-man show. It just could be them at the bowling alley again. But the one-man show is just an unnecessary kind of 5 minutes or whatever, and that's me out of low points. So any others?
I was expecting this to be more of a bowling film, and I was disappointed there wasn't as much bowling in it. I thought it was, like Kingpin, where I thought you see him go through the rounds and all that. I thought it was more bowling than it was everything else.
I'm 100% with you. Every single time I've watched this film, I always forget how little bowling there is in this film. Because everything you see, like literally, if you look behind us, every single scene is a bowling alley. That's what you remember this film.
The best bits of the bowling alley.
Yeah.
They get to the semis, and then Donnie dies, and then Sam Elliott tells him good luck in the semi.
Another thing, was it just pairs or was it triplets? Because you only ever see.
I think it was triplets.
Like any of the three of them.
I think it's the three of them are the team. Yeah, I think the three of them's the team. I could be wrong. Maybe it's not Donnie. Maybe it's just the other two, and Donnie's just there hanging about.
Maybe.
Am I right in thinking that we never see Dude even
Actually, no, because Jesus' team only has two.
Fact.
Yeah. Jesus only has two, so it must be two.
Yeah, my fun fact is you never see him bowl throughout the film. You see him pick up his ball, and you see him go up to do it, but you never actually see him throw a ball.
So presumably, I would think it's Dude and Walter, but it might actually be Donnie and Walter, and Dude's just there to hang out.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. Anyway, but yeah, it must be pairs. It has to be pairs.
Aye.
And it's just whether Donnie's not cool enough to actually be on the team, or the Dude can't be ours. I'm positive Walter bowls.
Right, he was throwing. He was the better one. He was constantly hitting strikes.
Yeah.
Any other low points?
Nope.
No, I'm out.
Because I'm rattling.
We do. We've been going for hours. Point 4, the stats. I had help. I didn't have help with shits. 36, though. I did have help with F-bombs. I think it might be an unattainable record. I don't think any other film will ever hit 285 F-bombs.
Really?
In
what is
1
the
hour,
vast majority of them?
Yeah.
1 hour 57, including opening credits and closing credits. So we're looking at probably 2 hours 50, 1 hour 50.
Challenge
285.
accepted.
That's an extortionate F-bombs. Explosions, none. Dude's car is on fire, but doesn't explode at any point. Deaths, only one. Only Donnie dies in the film. Quotas, no cows, no goats. I don't think any dead animals. Only really there's Walter's dog. Is
that marmot's could have drowned.
On the marmot. The marmot. Yeah, the marmot could be dead. I think about it. Pedophiles, the Jesus. Actually, no suspected here. He actually had to go around telling everyone he was a pedophile. Cracked that one. The Tom Cruise or Tackleberry trifecta. I think one of the nihilists gets it.
I call the girl in the eye.
The one, whoever's girlfriend, whoever has that girlfriend, gets her at the end, presumably.
I think it must be the tall one.
They all ride a motorbike, and then I couldn't think of them running in the film until it gets to the dream sequence when they all have scissors and they're all running towards the screen with the big scissors. So I think we might have whichever the tallest, I think it's nihilist number 3 is what he is in the credits. May have got the Tom Cruise. I think he won't be included in the titling. I think we'll stick with it. But he might be the current champion of the trifecta.
Oh, Chris is definitely going to pick a film with a Tom Cruise trifecta now. Look at him, you can see it.
It's in the same thing. He'd already had the girl. Like Tackleberry already had his wife, so.
Yeah, I suppose. And we also, I think we don't know for a fact he gets her in the end, because when they all get like the piss beaten out of them, she wasn't even there. So, so extra bonus ones I was able to get off my DVD. There are 198 mans. When someone says man, like, listen, man, this is like your opinion, man. 198 of them. They say dude 162 times in the film.
I got 160.
They say Lebowski 89 times. But how often do they say the thing? Big Lebowski.
10.
It is far less. It is 2 by my count. It is definitely not as many as 10, but it's always in relation to Jeffrey, the other Jeffrey Lebowski. But it's 1 early and 1 late. I was really listening hard because obviously I had a counter counting Lebowskis for me. So yeah, that's what on the DVD it has. Anytime there's like a big picture of the dude, a small picture of the dude, Walter, and then a middle finger. Anytime there's an F-bomb, the middle finger flashes and it counts. Anytime there's a man, Walter flashes. Anytime there's a dude, he flashes. And then the bigger one, it's Lebowski's. But whenever they bowl a strike, it flashes up saying strike. Anytime they take a drink, a glass flashes up. So actually, technically, it counts how many times they drink as well. And there's other bits and bobs as well. I think anytime... Oh, there's one other one as well. Anytime they say shut the fuck up, Donnie flashes up on that as well. So it's an amazing little Blu-ray feature. Chris, any other stats from you?
Yeah, fun little fact. Jerry Haleva has played Saddam Hussein in 6 different films.
Yes, he's in the Hot Shots movies. They're from my youth. He was Saddam in those.
I got a message as you said. Did you count how many strikes you got?
Yeah, no.
No, I didn't do that.
Right. I counted 9.
9?
Okay.
But like I didn't count all the ones that were happening behind, so there could be a lot more than that. Another one was
Uh,
you never seen Good Bowl.
I never seen that. I didn't realise really till I was sitting here now. Andy, a fun fact from you?
No, because I forgot.
Okay, well, Chris did. On a
Chris gave
point
a fun fact.
5. On point 5 is the 10-point podcast quiz. Andy is continuing as our quiz master, or maybe AI is continuing as
Well,
a quiz master.
speaking of which, of forgetting, I did forget to do a quiz for this until 2 minutes before we started. So,
Oh, really?
these questions have been written by AI for me again.
Right, okay.
So some are easy, some are spectacularly hard. We'll see how we go. So who wants to go first?
Well, I was quiz champion, so I'll elect to go first.
Right, we're going to start off easy because this is a quiz about the Big Lebowski, which Bruce should absolutely nail because it's one of his favorite films.
We'll see.
So Bruce, bear in mind, AI wrote this, not me.
Mm-hmm.
What is the nickname of the main character, Jeffrey Lebowski?
He's nicknamed the Dude, or his Dudeness, or El Duderino, or whatever else I said at the beginning.
Yeah, the Dude is acceptable. Chris, which famous actor plays the role of the Dude in The Big Lebowski?
Jeff Bridges.
Yes, it is.
I feel like a lot of this is going to be spoiled. I've just been talking about it.
This is AI, it knows.
Mm-hmm.
The main plot of the movie revolves around a case of mistaking identity involving a kidnapped wife. What is the name of the kidnapped wife?
Well, she goes as Bunny Lebowski in the film.
That is exactly what it is. Bunny Lebowski.
What's her real first name? Claire von Grutzen or something?
AI says Bunny. We're taking Bunny.
Oh, it's Bunny. It's Bunny.
Yeah, okay. Dressed as a German nihilist, this character threatens the Dude throughout the movie. What is his name?
Uli. Uli.
You have to hurry. No,
Uli
Bruce.
Something.
Is it Uli or is it Carl Hungus? It's either Uli something with a
Which
K.
one are you picking? Pick one.
I'll go Carl Hungus then.
It is Carl Hungus.
Carl Hungus. His real name's Uli though.
I couldn't remember the Carl Hungus. I only remember
Carl Hungus is what AI came up with. We're taking
It's
that.
like Uli. It's not Knutson. There's something else like that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Bruce.
Well, I'll give Chris a point for that with me.
What is the name of the Dude's best friend who often accompanies him on his misadventures?
Walter? Or do you need the whole name?
I need the whole name.
Walter Sobchak.
Yep, it is Walter Sobchak.
I should do that one.
Chris, what specific item goes missing in the movie, leading to the Dude and his friend to go on a wild goose chase?
The wife, the Bunny.
Bruce?
Briefcase.
It's a rug.
It's a rug.
It doesn't go. Oh, fuck no.
Hey!
What item? A wife.
I forgot about it because he had the rug. I forgot she took it away.
The rug is first. Yeah, the
Stole it.
rug
I thought that was the easiest question of the fucking lot.
Yeah. I'd already given him a point. I had to take off a point.
Bruce, in one memorable scene, the Dude has a fantasy sequence set in which decade?
Oh, that's a question.
Aye, AI.
So the fantasy sequence is set in a decade. 70s?
No, Chris.
90s?
No, it was the 60s.
What was that?
I don't know. The AI says
the main one. The bowling one, probably.
Aye.
The one where he's full on dancing around. Must be that.
Right. Chris. What is the nickname given to Jesus Quintana, a rival bowler played by John Torino?
Pederast?
No.
Is he not just the Jesus?
It's the Jesus. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Specifically the Jesus.
Never heard him called to Jesus.
Chris.
And nobody fucks with the
That's
Jesus,
Bruce.
is the big line.
Bruce. This character runs a bowling alley and is the Big Lebowski's assistant. What is his name?
What?
He runs a bowling alley. It's Brandt. Is this the Big Lebowski's
Brandt,
assistant?
yep.
Yeah. He runs a bowling alley.
He apparently runs the bowling alley, yeah. That's what AI says. Don't fuck with AI. And
That's
Chris,
cool.
which beverage does the Dude frequently drink throughout the movie?
Oh my god. White Russian.
Yes, it is.
I was
Or a
thinking of the
Caucasian. It wasn't until this film I started calling them Caucasians as well.
Caucasians, yeah. No.
Caucasian.
There we go. AI.
I won.
He did. He dominated. Because Chris had brain farts.
Which
Oh
I
my god.
Yeah, it's tough when Chris has seen it twice in a week and I've seen it 50 times in the last 20. So, right, point 6, movies in the movies. Chris, you can redeem yourself with the 10-point podcast universe.
There's a few, so I'm just going to rattle through them. The funeral director Warren Keith was in Fargo as Riley.
Didn't have him straight away. He's beat me on one.
Hey.
Just a voice. John Polito, who was the private Snoop guy. He was
Brother Seamus, an Irish monk.
He was in Highlander as Detective Bedso. Or Bedoso. I might have spelled his name wrong. Anyway. Irene Olga Lopez. My fucking writing is awful.
Lewis.
It must be Lopez. She was Pilar. That was I think it was mum, wasn't it?
In what? In this?
Big Lebowski, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was a white. I feel like it was like a carer. Might be.
Anyway.
Maybe, I don't know.
She was in Falling Down as Angie's mum. David I forgot about this one completely. Who was Knox Harrington, the one that we hate. He was the dad in the Boy in Striped Pajamas.
Boy in Striped Pajamas, yeah.
Again, I forgot about this one. John Turturro, who's Jesus. Oh, jeez. Yeah, he was in No Brother Where Art Thou. He was one of the main ones in that.
He was, yeah. You forget, did you?
Jack Keller, who was the landlord, he was in Waterworld as a banker who eats pure dirt.
He was the one-man show guy, yeah.
Was it? Oh, that was him.
Yeah,
that just blew my mind.
That's
That's why they were there.
Yeah.
Oh, that just fucking blew my mind. Peter Stormare, he was Carl Hungus. It's right fucking there. How did I not get that?
I mean, it was called Uli, though. That was.
Yeah. He was in Fargo as the monster Geyer or Gear, what it was called. He was in Minority Report as well as Dr. Solomon. That was the big guy's name, but he was a monster.
Was it?
He chopped up.
Oh yeah, the guy he put Steve Buscemi in the chipper. Yeah. I don't know.
Apparently, his name was a Geyer or something. He was also the president in Imagined Name of Dr. Parnassus.
Yeah, I could not place him. I saw Dr. Parnassus and I was like, what the hell was he in that? Like, oh, jeez, he was.
I forgot about this one until Peter Stormer popped up. Steve Buscemi was Donnie. He was Carol in Fargo. He's the one that got chopped up. And Julianne Moore, again, I forgot she was in Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot about this one as well. John Goodman was in No Brother Where Art Thou as Big Dan.
You missed a person. Somebody else who's in Evolution. Wendy Braun. She played in this film Chlorine Dancer. Now, I don't know if that means like the dance.
I'm assuming
scene.
that was uncredited.
She was in Evolution. I think you're right. She was in Evolution, but I don't know who she played in Evolution. But you also missed the Steve Buscemi who was in The Dead Don't Die. He was the farmer in The Dead Don't Die.
Nobody remembers that film.
Was he?
Yeah, he only lasted about a scene, but he ran a farm and immediately got like he was horrible. I think he had a "Make America Great Again" cap on or something like that. He was something like that. But yeah, he was in
that film whatsoever.
Nope.
Anyway, Steve Buscemi. Have you recast the three of us into fairly obvious and clear roles in this film?
Yeah. Very, very early doors. I had Andy as Walter.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll take that.
His mannerisms and just what he says is pure Andy.
His attitude towards people.
If I went to Nam, 100%, I would be John Goodman right there.
It's like, even that look there when somebody just says something stupid, I can just see you just kind of going, whatever. And I put myself as Donnie. That was fairly obvious, which had to be Bruce as the dude. Like you're fairly laid back. And just
everything else. From the second we started doing the recasting, I've been thinking about this. This is the perfect recasting us at the roles. Like we genuinely fit this formation perfectly.
We actually are on my screen. We are like I'm well that way, you're that way, and just Chris in the middle.
Amazing. Yes, perfect. It is the most obvious. There'll never be easier than that, I don't think. My questions that I ask by the way, I didn't do. There's no movies for me to look at. There's nothing directly. This movie's in it, but this film has an exceptionally long amount of films that it is referencing, inspired by. This scene is from that. This scene takes from that. Everything from 40s through to 70s. It's like an impossible amount of films. This film references, most of which I don't get because I haven't seen all these films from the 40s and 50s and all that. But old noir and investigator and twisty kind of turny things. There's so many. But my questions. Could this film have come out in 1995? Yes. I was like, it's set in 1990. It's made in 1998. The actor's going to play the same role. So no arguments there. But I need to ask Chris, Dead Man Walking. Because I know this film. Did anyone jump out? He's like, there's no way they're lasting. And did you know that Donnie would be the one that didn't last?
Oh, I thought one of the nihilists would die.
Right, okay.
But I didn't think Donnie was, I didn't think he was going to be anywhere near a fight whatsoever.
Did you ever have a fear that Bunny was actually kidnapped and was in danger at any point?
No, not really.
Because immediately they do jump straight away to she's just picking up herself. It's just about the first thought they had. So yeah. Dead Man Walking, it might be a shutout because obviously I know Donnie dies. Who's in the wrong movie? I think it's Maud.
Yeah, I give you that.
Yeah.
Maybe David Thewlis.
Well, yeah, both of them.
Yeah, the two of them. And which trope would I like to see die? Mysterious, intelligent woman using a dumbass guy for reasons. Like, there's always this really out of his league, very smart, special woman just picks this arsehole who's useless to do her dirty work or to do the dirty in this case. And it's like, I want rid of that trope. Hard for tropes. What about you, Andy?
Mine's is tournaments that are happening and we never get a conclusion.
That's
like,
I get that a lot. Lots of sports movies like that nowadays where it's a chunk.
It's like
you never
what
find out
happened?
what happens.
It's like, oh, they're doing something. I'm like, well, I want to know what happened. Did they win? No.
They should have had a bit at the end, like the dude and Walter go on to win the championship.
Yeah.
Like
because that would have found it, round it off perfectly.
What about you, Chris? What trope?
Whale music being relaxing. It's not. It's fucking eerie and creepy.
Would you rather listen to a bowling game from the year before? Would you?
Yep.
I probably would, yeah.
Because the pins drop and you'd love it.
Yeah.
It was like when Donnie died and they started panning away, it had the whales going.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not relaxed, that's creepy.
Point 7 on the podcast. That one thing. What is the one thing this film has? I literally have 5 things written down as the one thing. So
well,
Chris,
no, you can't. You can have one.
I know.
Okay. I left Best Actor blank, but I put Best Supporting as John Goodman.
That's the one thing, is it?
What?
We're on point 7.
Yeah.
Are we? What have I missed? Oh, fuck yeah. One, sorry. Bowling.
Bowling, right? Okay. You, Andy?
I'll explain later on why I'm away, but
my one thing is this is John Goodman's performance. This is always, anytime I think John Goodman, I think him being a crazy bastard in Big Lebowski.
So 2 of my 5 one things are bowling and Walter. So I'll go along. I had the dude, but we'll get rid of him. White Russians, I think, has got an argument.
Yeah,
like,
you never really see them.
And then the Jesus, but then he gets his own film, so I got rid of that as well. So yeah, maybe it's Walter because he does a lot of bowling. Maybe, but it might be the best bowling film because I probably think it's better than Kingpin. Point 8 nominations for the 10-Point Podcast Awards.
I think we should start with Chris.
My brain's nominations.
He's fucking his Donnie, isn't he?
I'll tell you later. Right, so I left Best Actor blank because I don't know. Like I put Best Supporting as John Goodman.
Definitely Best Supporting as John Goodman. I like Jeff Bridges as the dude, so I've got him as Best Acting.
I will accept that because I wasn't sure. Like if
you can give him a nomination.
His delivery of so many lines is perfect. Like he is so funny. You can not like the character, but the way he acts is just incredible, I think. So it's not as good as
I'll accept that. Oh, excuse me. My most underused. I wanted to say Steve Buscemi, but I think John Turturro has to be the most underused.
I think too much of them is a bad thing because I've seen the Jesus Rolls movie and it's very different. But I think it's the perfect amount of Jesus. I think
if they had the final, that would have been the perfect amount. Because he'd been in there playing his game and
he'd have been too much.
He needs to be like this enigma. He has to be this weirdo. He just comes in twice and he's just, he's just there to make Walter angry, basically, a couple of scenes. My most underused, I went Philip Seymour Hoffman because I think he's really good as Brandt. And Brandt
I don't like him as Brandt either. So
I thought he was done right.
We'll leave everyone's used fine then. Donnie has an argument, but again, I like Donnie always being the kind of hanger-on in the background is perfect. So.
My best team is the 3 behind Bruce.
The 3 of them, yeah, definitely.
My biggest bellend is the Big Lebowski.
I went Larry as the biggest bellend
because he's
doubling the. most annoying kid and also biggest bell end.
I was going for the guy for the
I've got
walk over the
him
line.
as most annoying kid.
Oh, Smokey, who crosses
Smokey,
the line.
aye.
Is he biggest bell end?
I think so because he cheated.
He's so innocent. Poor old
No,
Smokey.
he fucking cheated.
He had
Walter's
mental
probably
problems.
actually the biggest bell end. Like pulling a gun on somebody just
No,
Yeah.
no, he
It
is.
probably
That
is
was
Walter. Yeah.
That was just
Actually.
cause.
No,
He
it's
just
Walter.
cause. No, Smokey.
Walter's
He
the biggest
crossed the
bell
line,
end.
broke the rules.
Big Lebowski then. Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
He's the biggest bell end.
I'm not
They
sure
stole
that's
money from
the
charity.
best.
So there we
Yeah.
go. Biggest
Oh
bell end.
fuck! I forgot about that. I'm not putting Donnie's death as best death because
Yeah.
it wasn't the best death. Stupidest
Well,
character. I
it was
put is-
good and it made you feel things, but in the spirit
Yeah.
of best death, it's not going to win. So
I put the dude as stupidest character because I don't know how long he's lived in that house, but having a fucking plank of wood to a door that opens out the way has got to be one of the stupidest things ever.
best inanimate object, the dude's wooden block that he nails to the floor
Yeah.
and it doesn't work and then trips over. That's what I put for best inanimate object.
I put
Yeah,
Walter's
I don't
bowling
have
ball.
stupidest characters, so we'll go with the dude if you want. That's fine.
I put Walter's bowling ball as the best inanimate object because that was quite cool.
I don't really have an inanimate object, so I'm going for the doorstop's unusual.
The doorstop. The fact that he nailed
I'll
it down for
accept the
hours,
doorstop.
probably,
Yeah.
and it's the wrong way around. Immediately the door
He's
opens.
using the screws as well that you actually screw in for like a fucking unit.
More evidence that he's the
Hammered them
stupidest
in.
character. Yeah.
My worst, no, I missed something. No, not worst plan is getting Walter's help because he does not help whatsoever.
He does.
We could go all the. I've got Walter's ringer plan, which is here's my dirty undies. We give them my dirty undies. How do we find out where she is? Well, I'll just grab one of them and beat it out of him. Like, well, that's not a plan.
That's a perfectly acceptable plan.
My best weapon, the cup to the face from the police officer. I did not see
Yeah.
that coming whatsoever.
Good shout, yeah.
Best twist, like Bunny, like not actually being kidnapped and just driving past Lebowski.
Nah.
Just took her
I've got a
Yeah.
question mark because I know this film backwards and forwards, so I wanted to know what Chris thought.
I'm going to say best twist is Donnie's death.
I didn't see that one coming.
That would make a good twist, then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think it's less. I think it's obvious, more obvious that Bunny hasn't been actually kidnapped than it is
Yeah.
that Donnie's going to die. I guess. So yeah, maybe Donnie's death.
Okay, I'll accept that one. Blah blah blah. Worst special effects. Like I know it's a dream sequence, but when the dude's going underneath the ladies, his hair is going through the floor. It was
Right.
fucking
The green
annoyed me.
screen. Aye.
Mine was Magic Carpet. It's meant to look bad.
It was flat. Like his chest was so flat because he obviously was lying on a block or whatever.
Right.
Like that was my
Yeah,
one when he was Superman.
Fair enough, we'll go with that. Then.
Basically,
Oh,
any of the CGI scenes.
any of the CGI scenes, but again, it's supposed to be bad, which is it kind of works.
My best set is the bowling alley.
Yeah.
I don't have a best cameo. Most unexpected
best
plea.
cameo, Saddam Hussein.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't see that coming at all.
Oh, who'd that be?
What did you say?
I think it'd be
What-
Haleva. Jerry Haleva.
Jerry
Yes.
Halliwell.
But I'm actually just not even him, just Saddam Hussein.
Saddam.
My best Chris cameo for me personally is Mark Pellegrino. As
Good shout. Yeah, that's the Chris
because
cameo.
that's
Yeah.
definitely a Chris
I
cameo. Like,
recognise his face, but I wouldn't put it as best cameo.
It'd be best cameo, Jacob from Lost.
Yeah,
That's
Jacob
the
from
best
Lost.
cameo. Yeah.
But
but
I'm not.
it's a Chris cameo written all over
That's a
it.
Chris cameo. Chris cameo.
Well, you can put it as an Adam Bruce cameo. I'm not putting it as mine.
No, it's a Chris
Accept that.
cameo. It's a retrospective
the-
cameo. It's Chris
In
cameo.
the spirit of what the Chris cameo is, that's what you would think is the best cameo.
Yeah.
Did you?
I would
You
accept
said
it if I
something.
said it.
Yeah, fairness. Yeah, all the other ones you did actually say. Andy cut you off there, Chris, and I missed what you were saying when you.
Oh, I've said Dodgers Joe as Flea. I wasn't expecting him in the film.
Right. Okay. I did wonder about that because again, this is his most famous role to me is Flea in this. Okay, Daniel Jones
See,
Flea.
what
Works.
he's been in now is more famous. I'm sure he's been in like a Star Wars thing as well.
Is he? Oh yeah, I think he has. Didn't he? Yeah. Okay, but yeah, fair enough. I'll accept it because at one time it would be right for me that why the hell is Flea in this movie? So yeah.
Best fight is the dude / Walter versus the nihilists.
Yep.
I've got mainly it's just Walter versus the Nihilists is what I've got.
It's
Yeah.
the big one just like standing going, yeah, just like doing little kicks and not.
Is this him? He's just going, "Fuck you, fuck you."
My Michael Pena award, you can choose Sam Elliott's opening monologue or his end monologue, him wrapping up. I prefer his end.
He gives up on both, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like his end one because you actually see you put a face to the thing and then it's just,
Yeah.
he says
Any good
like,
sarsaparilla?
Yeah,
But I thought he was going to like get involved, like help them somehow, like replace Donnie in the bowling match or something.
He's
But
literally
he's
just the narrator.
some fucking random guy.
Yeah.
Best voice work is Sam Elliott at the start.
Yep.
Worst cop is the jerk off sheriff.
I guess so, yeah.
My best song, like the overall soundtrack, was absolutely fucking banging.
Really good.
And I really, really wanted to put the Bob Dylan song, but I've
Man
got
and Me.
an affinity for that's the one. Mucha Muchacha.
Oh, it's a good one.
And I don't know where it's from because I've heard it before and it's pissing me off.
It shows up in a lot of kind of joke ones. Oh, all of a sudden you're in a Mexican restaurant and then that music kind of plays. But for me, this film made me find the Gypsy Kings version of Hotel California. So that has to be my best song nomination. And also it's the Jesus' introduction scene. So that's mine. Andy, do you want to have a tiebreaker or have you got
well, I like the Consequences song, but I also like the Vegas song at the end credits.
That's a good one as well, actually, yeah.
So the cover version, so soundtrack.
Just put it in general.
Yeah, general soundtrack, unfortunately.
My best outfit was Jeff Bridges' jelly shoes, which are actually his own shoes.
Nah, it has to be worse. I forgot to put them down. They're worst costume.
Every time Chantal watches this film, she forgets a lot of this film. And then it's just, jelly shoes. Can you get them in adult sizes? I want a pair. Like that every time she wants. She's always straight.
His costume is actually just Jeff Bridges' outfit, like clothes, his own clothes. Like he's got a pair of jelly shoes, which he still wears today.
Jade's got a cardigan that's exactly the same as the one on Chrissy's video. I forget why I am in relation to Chris, but the cardigan that's in the background, Jade's got, it's like maroon instead of purple, but other than that, it's exactly the same.
Okay. I'll accept that as worst one because I think I might put it in the wrong spot anyway.
We could have done Chris's nominations in a separate podcast. He's got that.
I know, fucking hell, hurry up.
There's a lot. I'm trying to remember, just keep talking about it. Best hair is Sam Elliott's moustache. It was magnificent.
Yes.
Yep.
Most pornographic, log jamming.
Log jamming. Yes.
It's a literal porno.
Oh, God.
Best name is the dude.
No, I think Lebowski is our name.
Lebowski is quite good, actually, yeah. I mean, we could just go Jeffrey the Dude Lebowski. Works for best name.
I think the Big Lebowski is better than the Dude Lebowski.
But he's not really called that. They just refer
to
him.
Right. The most annoying kid is Larry. He's one in the face. He's got a punch. The best.
What's your homework?
Folgers coffee.
No.
Miller Lite.
I had that until thinking about had the 10 and you see
all the coffee jar.
I've never seen, like, I know the coffee jar's like thingy, but you can't read it for a bit until he's finished it. I've never heard of it, but Miller Lite all over it.
Yeah, and it's quite front and centered at one scene. Yeah.
Yep.
Is that you, Chris?
That's me, yeah.
Best animal marmot.
Yep.
Best badass Walter.
Yep.
Oh shit, yeah.
Best reaction, which I think was a Chris invented one. The scene that I was raving about where Walter, when the dude mentions that Bunny has kidnapped herself, and Walter just gets gradually angrier and angrier the more he thinks about him. So that's the best reaction. Done that. Done best team, done twist, best. I think we've just about got everything. Worst accent, the Nihilists.
Oh yeah, I couldn't figure out what accent it was supposed to be. No,
weren't they?
I had what's his face as worst accent. David Thewlis.
Right.
That's kind of what he sounds like.
Yeah.
In fact, he's actually
language.
doing.
I thought he was going for Scouse.
Yeah, he is, because he's referencing a film he was in called Naked. He's a Scouser in that, because there's a character called Sandra in that. He's meant to be doing Scouse like he was in that film.
If you've ever run a nomination, you're missing one blatantly obvious one.
I've got one more. Worst villain, Big Lebowski is my worst villain.
Yeah, you can have that, but that's not what I'm thinking.
Right, when you go, Andy.
Best entrance. This one's going to be hard to top. It's starting off strong. Julianne Moore flying in, butt naked.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Okay.
That's the Jesus is strong, licking his ball, but Julianne Moore butt naked, doing some painting, ziplining.
Yep, fair. I'll let her have that. I have kind of criticised Maud a lot, but yeah, okay, you're right. Point 9. Moral of the story: life does not stop and start at your convenience, you piece of shit, is what I've got. I found it hard to get the moral, so I just quoted that again. Andy, here's your moral of the story.
If in doubt, drink a White Russian.
Or go bowling.
Well, yeah.
Let's go bowling, Roman. And Chris, what's yours?
Being prepared to do the right thing, whatever the cost, makes a man. That and a pair of testicles.
Hey!
Very good. 10th point, eventually, is the 10-point rating we rate the film out of 10. Chris, on first viewing, also picked it. He still gets to go first.
Yeah, I thought it was good. It's not as great as what everyone else that loves it says it is, but I'd happily watch it again. Like I said to the thing, like John Goodman completely steals the movie. He is magnificent in this film. I've also said like there's a lot going on, so it definitely needs a minimum of 2 watches because I started to figure out what was happening on the second watch.
Yeah,
but like that's not going to stop me from watching it again, and it doesn't stop it from getting a 7. So
7 from Chris. I went me next because I love this film. It's a 10. Andy, what's your score?
I knew that was coming.
Called it.
Did call it. I know it's one of Bruce's favorite films. Now, it's not a film I hate. I hate a lot of Coen Brothers films. I do enjoy this one mostly because John Goodman's performance is spectacular. Jeff Bridges is all right. It doesn't annoy me. The story is just fucking shocking in this film, and like I can follow a complicated story, but it's just pointless because I just want some lighthearted comedy, and that's probably why I put this on again and again. Like I like bits of it, but I don't enjoy the overall film. So for me, it gets a 4.
A 4 for its bits,
which is probably the best highly rated Coen Brothers film I've ever done.
It might be on the chart. Might be the best by your scoring. I think that's a 7, and the average is out to. I think a 7 from Chris, a 10 from me, and a 4 from Andy. That sounds like it's a 7 out of 10 for the Big Lebowski. There's no point in me making the podcast longer by saying how much I love this film. I love this film. It's one of my core 5 probably films that are my favourites.
You've also incepted because you've talked about it more than once, and I thought it had been picked well before now. So
it's such a reference point for me.
Chantal even thought we did this podcast.
Yeah, it feels like it. It does feel like it. It's 7 out of 10. Fair, because I know Andy's not massively into the Coen Brothers, and I probably love this film more than it's better. So 7, I'll take a 7. 7 puts it in the running for best movie because 8, the only film to get 8, won last.
You wait.
Break my cards for worst movies.
You wait. I've got some bangers lined up this season.
Oh god, yeah. Chris has got a bad track record. Have you got a theme, Chris?
Kind of. We'll see. It might evolve into a theme.
Is it sports films?
So I've got nothing in my head as a theme right now.
Russian films.
Okay.
I was going to do films Bruce hasn't seen part 2, but clearly you've seen Big Lebowski, so
it started in the wrong place.
Yeah, I know. That's why I changed it.
Cool. So I wasn't sure if you said you had a theme or not, so we won't bother guessing. I was going to say we'll have one guess in week. In the future for themes, I think what a good way to do it might be week 1 we have 1 guess, week 2 we have 2 guesses, and maybe see if we can get that way. Anyway, me next. Because Andy voted for Chris's pick to start the season, so it's my selection next. I'm not deviating from the same film, so it's the same one that Andy turned down. It's also a comedy. It's probably as much of a comedy. Because the Big Lebowski is funny, but there's a story there. It's not all just meant to be jokes. 2001, so we're going 3 years later. I'm not going to read you the cast because I have never seen this film before.
Ooh.
And the cast won't make it sound especially exciting. But on the other hand, there's some big names in it who I'm not sure have big roles in it. Because it's from 2001, and it's lots of young comedy actors that were in it. So I don't actually know who's big and who's not. Oh. I'm picking this film because I saw basically a 20-odd, nearly 20-year-old sequel to it that I really enjoyed. I had a lot of the recurrent characters coming back when the actors were big time. The film is Wet Hot American Summer.
As soon as you said that, I came up with I've seen this before.
So that's why I was laughing about Chris having his sweaty pits and moaning about what it was.
Come off my list.
So I have never seen the 2001 version. I've only ever seen the sequel, whatever it was, that came out a few years ago, starring many comedians of the time. It's set in 1981, I think it is. So it's one of them films that it's a period piece, but also it was a while ago for us now as well.
I fucking love this film.
So I was happy when Chris picked Big Lebowski. Chris was happy when I picked Wet Hot American Summer, and you've all got a period of time that I'm not exactly sure how long it is to find Wet Hot American Summer and watch it and come back to us next time on the 10 Point Podcast.